Gary, besides sharing a drink with Miss El Salvador, what do you hope to learn through your visit? And as a research guy, what are the implications of a government making the investment in buying Bitcoin?
Well, so first of all, I think there's a huge advantage to when you go to these places talking to the people. And I travel a lot. I spend most of my winter living in different countries. And you learn a lot about their finances, their economy, their lives. They'll tell you all kinds of personal things. The only thing you need to do is ask them the question in a non-judgmental way, right? You just want to convey, I'm interested in getting to know you. I want to understand, what you're dealing with and what your life is like. And people will open up and they'll tell you an enormous amount. And the thing that I think is really interesting for me, the case for Bitcoin is very clear, which is the one that I made before, in which David, I think, illustrated perfectly, saying, hey, $6 trillion of fiat currency creation, right? We have a dollar that's declining in value in terms of purchasing power. And so that's the thesis there. But when you take a look at El Salvador, they've had societal changes and hard money, meaning money that isn't easily replicated or debased, is correlated with low crime rate, high rates of investment, beautiful art, fantastic architecture, societies that work well, are low crime, and invest for a future. Societies with high inflation, with soft currency, where your money can be debased and the value of it disappears. You have ugly art, ugly infrastructure, ugly architecture. You have high crime. People don't invest. They're incentivized to have a very short time horizon on everything and to simply spend their money as soon as they get it. Because how do you save in Argentinian pesos? You can't. You lose 10% of your value every month. So how do you do things like save for a house or save for an education? These things aren't possible in bad currencies. So I actually believe that fiscal policy has a massive impact on people's lives. But if you really want to find out, you need to go there and talk to the people and engage with them and find out what their lives are like and ask them those questions.
Gary's raising a really important point that I think American investors too often forget, which is the fact that Bitcoin is a global asset. One of the most common questions that I get when I do training sessions for advisors on this subject, the question I get is, why do we need Bitcoin? And that's a kind of a fair question if you're an affluent American. I mean, we have a banking system in this country that, although it's really easy to criticize it, we all love to hate it, it works pretty well. I get my paycheck direct deposited to my bank. I can access it through an ATM or my debit card pretty easily. I don't have to worry for most cases that the bank's going to suddenly get shut down. And even if it does, I got FDIC to protect me. The banking system pretty much works okay. But if you're in countries like Argentina, Zimbabwe, the list goes on, where people get paid in current local currency cash, and the first thing they do is run to the grocer to buy bread before the currency gets debased by 50%, and they can only buy half as much bread tomorrow as they could buy today. We have to remember that the reason there's so much excitement about this is not necessarily affluent Americans who can regard Bitcoin as an option, but for an awful lot of people around the world, I'm talking billions of people, this is an essential savior to their financial security.